Hello and welcome to the EJ Tech Show. I'm Soham and this is the Samsung Galaxy M42 5G, the cheapest 5G smartphone from the brand in India, starting at just 21,999. I'm going to review it for you, tell you everything it gets and everything it doesn't. So if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the editorji channel for more tech reviews. The Galaxy M42 features a prism dot design with segmentation on the back that looks quite distinct. In fact, I personally like it better than the F62 and M51. It's also much slimmer and lighter than those other two at 8.6mm thin and 190 grams. The camera cutout is square, which is in line with the latest M series design. However, the back is glossy plastic, so scratches are easy to come by, and it also shows up a lot of fingerprints. On the front, there's a 6.6-inch Super AMOLED display, but it's not FHD+, it is only HD+ resolution, which is quite a confusing choice, especially considering the price point, which is above 20,000 rupees. Now, the colors are quite vibrant and punchy, but you can definitely notice the pixelation since the screen is so large. Also, there's the Infinity U design here, which I wish was the Infinity O design like the M51. Now, the bezels here are really slim and the chin is quite small, which is good, and it makes the phone look quite premium. There's also Widevine L1 certification for Netflix and the like. However, there's no high refresh rate, but I will say this, that I'd much rather there be an FHD+ panel at this price point than a high refresh rate. On the back, there's a 48-megapixel quad camera setup with an 8-megapixel ultra-wide shooter, a 5-megapixel macro camera and 5-megapixel depth camera. Now, image quality is actually really good for the price, and I don't think there's many similarly priced smartphones that are as good as this. Daylight shots are really vibrant since this is a Samsung smartphone, and HDR also works quite well. Colors are very punchy, highlights are strong, and shadows are also quite well boosted. The 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera is also quite nice and a lot of detail is visible. However, there is quite a bit of color shift compared to the main sensor. Now, the 5-megapixel macro sensor is okay. It's not the best we've seen from Samsung, but it still does a decent job. The depth camera for portrait shots is good. Edge detection works well on both humans and on objects. Low light images aren't too bad, and the dedicated night mode does do a good enough job of boosting all the shadows and dark areas. Videos on the Galaxy M42 5G can be shot at up to 4K 30fps or 720 480 fps, but there's no optical image stabilization here. The front camera is a 20-megapixel sensor and detail is quite fine and colors are pretty accurate to real life. Outdoor selfies are good and get high dynamic range, and even the portrait mode works well to soften the background. Indoor selfies are better than I expected, and just like in outdoor selfies, the portrait mode works quite well indoors as well. The front camera can also shoot a maximum of 1080p at 30fps video. Now, under the hood, the Galaxy M42 5G gets a Snapdragon 750G chipset, which is actually even better than some of the new A series devices. It's built on the 8nm architecture and it's 5G enabled, so it's pretty much future-proof. Day-to-day performance with this chipset is good and the phone feels smooth to use overall. Multitasking is also strong and the phone handles multiple apps at once with ease. That being said, gaming performance is a bit of a mixed bag. On Call of Duty Mobile, there's dropped frames on high graphics settings. However, if you bump it down to medium graphics settings, the game runs pretty fine. It's possible that the problem in performance is down to the 6GB RAM that I have in this phone, but there's also an 8GB RAM model which I do expect will perform a little bit better. Now, software to me is the most interesting part of the M42 5G because unlike other M series phones, it gets full-blown One UI 3.1 based on Android 11, not Core One UI. That means there's NFC, there's Secure Folder, there's Samsung Pay, and there's Samsung Knox Security, which basically makes this a budget A series device since it has features that aren't offered on any other M series device. When it comes to utility, there's a 3.5mm headphone jack, a USB Type-C port, and a single bottom-firing speaker, which is the usual M series setup. However, there's a hybrid SIM slot here, which isn't something I'd expect on a Samsung device in this price range. Another unexpected thing is the in-display fingerprint scanner, which is great to see on an M series phone. It works really well and it's fairly quick to respond. Battery life is really good here with the 5000 mAh battery. It isn't the largest in the M series lineup, but it is big enough considering the Snapdragon 750G chip packed here and that HD Plus AMOLED display. It gave me over 8 hours of screen on time even with heavy usage, but it takes ages to charge thanks to the slow 15-watt charging adapter provided. Flat to full takes nearly 3 hours, which is a lot, and this is one area I think Samsung really needs to step it up. So overall, if you're looking for a great daily driver with the prospect of being able to use ultra-fast 5G whenever it comes around in India, the M42 5G is a great option. Sure, the screen might not be the crispiest we've seen, but consider the strong camera performance, software experience and battery life, and this phone punches well above its weight, offering great value for money.